Today is Wednesday, November 16th, 2022. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is our recap of Survivor 43, Week 9.
This episode was titled, What About the Big Girls? Spoken by Karla. I saw that. I was like, okay, I only know there's
Karla
one.
has to say that.
Yeah.
She's the only one that's allowed to say that. So.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know who said that.
No one else would say that.
Yeah. Hey, and then there were 8. But how did we get there, huh?
10 down to 8.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we knew was going to have to happen if we were going into the finale night with 5. So,
yep. We expected it at
it.
some point. We expected it actually at this point. Called it several weeks ago.
You did. You said it 10. Yeah, specifically.
And that's just based on previous history. That's how they'd done it in the other 2 seasons. So.
Yep, when they've got even Steven, they...
Okay, we return on night 16 right after that last tribal council where Janine was voted out and Owen is not happy.
Just think, this entire episode was one day.
Yeah, a little bit of this night for the pity party for Owen and then day 17 and two end up leaving. Yeah, it is jam-packed.
I was surprised that Owen... said to Sami and then he said to Gabler, can you come with me and Sami and talk right in front of the other people? Usually they're a little bit more discreet about let's go over and let's go get some water but he was just like, hey, we need to talk. It's like, okay, they're going out to talk about the rest of you. So
Sami starts explaining as soon as they get off a little way so they can chat. And he's saying it was easy and simple to get Janine. And Owen's feeling like he was left out of the vote because he had asked James at the water well just before they left. And he told him vote Ryan. Well,
he was left out of the vote by James. But Gabler told him the truth.
Yeah. So he was able to be on the bus that ran over Janine.
Could have gone against Gabler because now they know he told him.
Mm-hmm. Or they know someone did.
Yeah. Well,
we don't know
much knew it
for sure how it played out.
And he said Gabler only told him at the last minute when he asked him. But that he was so angry that James had just flat out lied.
It's Survivor, and no one out there knows that better than Owen. And 2, you calm yourself.
Yeah.
You're not in the controlling alliance. You haven't been this whole time since the merge. Why the moral outrage at this point? I just wasn't sure.
And why did Sami say I didn't want to vote Justine? It's like, well, but you did. So.
Yeah, Sami's not as clever as he thinks he is.
Yeah.
I like that nickname, Janine, and giving him Sam Bam. I see that more and more. The more Sami I see, the more I understand Sam Bam. He's a blunt force. He is not a scalpel, for sure.
Well, and Owen really was angry. He didn't even want to. James tried to talk with him, and no.
I like that. Want to talk?
Not going to do it.
Nope. That's actually probably the best thing to do, given how fired up he was.
Well, and then James tells us, you mess with James, you go home.
After he pleaded his case to the ladies, explaining to Karla and Cassidy how wrong and bad Owen is at this point.
Yeah, well, I think you could understand why Owen would be angry, but James was angry
yes
too. He wasn't expressing anger at that point because he thought Owen had written his name down. I can't remember whether he did or not. Do you? Did Owen write James's name?
Not this time, no. Just like you had
before.
said. Yes, yeah.
Okay, So I could see where James would be testing his loyalty.
Yeah, I
Why
actually,
wouldn't you?
I totally got it.
But Owen would not hear it.
Here's where James has lost his chill, even at this point. He wants to feel like it's still there, but he's really feeling the control. He's feeling the power that he has. So that's why he's given some of it back at this point.
Yeah.
Because if he really had power and was confident in his power, he wouldn't have engaged in an argument like this. It would have stayed very cool and clear. Look, you had voted for me before. I tested you. You followed the instructions this time. Let's see where we can go from here.
How different do you think the conversation would have gone if they knew the next morning they were going to go to a challenge that would split them into groups of 5 and one person would go home from each tribe? I think that might have been a whole nother conversation that
you think it would have
even
tempered
Owen
it?
might have. Yeah, I think he might have sat on that a bit, though
He didn't seem to be in control of everything.
Yeah,
so I'm going to disagree with you a little bit there.
Well, I would have hoped he could have pulled it.
So
but
day
he didn't,
17, we
so.
go from the I'm outraged coming back from tribal council to, hey, let's go do a challenge. And let's go back to tiny teams and wrestle with those dynamics where we had been just a few days before.
That's the twist for this challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Two people have immunity, which is great, but then 2 people go home as well.
Yeah, we were getting hyped and excited for the episode before it came on because we knew there would be 2 individual immunity necklaces, 3 immunity bracelets in play. The knowledge is power, although we didn't really expect anything to come of that, but it would be exciting if it did, and the steal a vote.
Well,
so
it won't now.
there was a chance to have a real advantage Idlegeddon kind of scenario here. So the
True.
potential energy of this episode at this point is still quite high.
And the key factor was you didn't know everybody who was going to be on each tribe. Mm-hmm. So it made it even harder. Yeah, because you chose 2 people to be voted out on one team.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. And
when it came to my JSFL
like,
picks, yeah.
I was like, well, that's the way it is when you just don't know.
Yeah. So it's a classic challenge. We've seen many times. I'd actually be fine if they retired this one for a little while, but it comes up frequently in the end game because they can make it somewhat...
It's fast and easy to get the job done.
Equal, yeah. So they're all built to the same height, and then they just offer different height boxes for people to stand on, so that they're basically doing the same lift, so that it everyone's roughly on par from that perspective. And it's you got to hold the handles up. There's a ball up above you on a ramp. If you drop that bar even a little bit, that ball starts to roll, and it's hard to get it.
I would actually really like to experiment with that challenge just to see, because to watch their faces, they have no clue that ball is on the move till it drops down in front of them.
Yes.
They think they got it, and they're holding it there, and they're just like, it's just clueless. Here comes the ball.
It's like a passing thought. It's like you're not thinking about what you're doing in the challenge. Your mind
You think they
switches.
zone out?
Yeah,
Or-
absolutely. Your mind switches to
I
something
know
else.
Ryan caught his a couple times.
There's a
but-
bug, or there's a breeze, or what did
Yeah,
Probst just say?
anything.
And then
Mind-numbing.
it's
so
rolling
you just-
and it's out. And if it drops, you're out of the challenge. So yeah, we get 2 teams of 5. Going to be 2 immunity necklaces. They're going to go to 2 tribal councils. They're going to go separately. I was wondering how that was going to play out. Was it going to be a group thing or separate?
Yeah, we didn't know.
And then this has become something that's become common when they've done this in the past, is the last person standing wins reward for their team.
Food reward.
So that's an incentive to keep going.
Yeah, keep going so it's not, they don't just drop out. Though, that works sometimes it
The
doesn't.
team of 5 that is the last one standing ends up going to tribal council last, so they get to see who the other team votes out.
Before they vote, so that is advantageous. Though,
Yeah, we're going to talk some more about that. It was the way that the version of the edit that we got, it was confusing. At least it didn't pan out the way we were told.
Well, yeah, it just did. They didn't do what they said they were going to do.
So the red team is Cassidy, Jesse, Ryan, Gabler, and Cody. And the blue team is Owen, Sami, Noelle, Karla, and James. And we're told multiple times that Karla has a bad hand.
Well, she had stitches in it, she said.
Yeah, she ends up saying that at one point, and James said that it was broken, although I tended to discount what he was saying.
Yeah, I know.
I thought he was kind of hyping her up or something.
I don't think he meant broken as the bone was broken, which is what we thought at first.
Just that it wasn't working broke.
Yeah, it wasn't working broken.
Gotcha. So Jesse has a stellar performance almost at the Crystal Cox level and drops very early. He definitely gets the Crystal Cox Award for this. Yes. Yeah, she's notorious from Survivor Gabon for failing out of a challenge faster than anyone else.
Yes.
Yeah, or a split second. Yeah.
Well, and we didn't expect that because she was an athlete, you know.
Yeah, come to find out, she had been doping during that time, though. So.
Oh, well, we found that out much later.
Yeah, never was quite what we thought she was in that regard.
Okay.
Anyway.
And then Cassidy goes out next.
Yep, they're both, Cassidy and Noelle are both
two out of the red team.
Caught off guard.
And then they flip over to the blue team, and Noelle goes out third. I would think that, you know, with her leg and being up on a box like that, that would be even so much more difficult to balance.
I don't think so. It's a flat platform, box or no box.
I still think it throws you off regardless.
What I actually was wondering if there might have been some kind of advantage.
I think you're delusional.
Okay.
I can barely stand on my 2 feet half the time. So
right.
You know,
but if you didn't have one of them causing you pain or...
Well, still.
Anyway, it didn't work out that way, so I'm not going to pursue that.
One shorter than the other, which is, in my case, happens.
Yes.
Stacy calls me Grandpa McCoy.
Yeah.
You're walking like Grandpa McCoy. Thanks, honey.
Or a weeble. She wobbles.
A weeble?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we digress. Let's move along. Okay, after Noelle, James goes out fourth.
Yeah, he seemed caught off guard. Okay. I don't think he was throwing it. I think he was genuinely surprised.
No, I don't think he was throwing it.
That he dropped it.
Yeah.
And the next one was a bigger surprise to me. I thought Gabler was going to be gunning.
I thought he might even win that challenge. But
he's back to regular Gabler this time. I guess he wasn't able to dedicate minutes to anyone, so it didn't bode well for him.
Then Owen goes next in sixth.
So we're down to 2 versus 2. Ryan versus Cody on the red, and Sami versus Karla. Were you surprised Karla was there? I was.
Yeah.
For blue.
I knew she probably had it in her, but something that surprised me was Sami telling Owen, I got it. You know, Owen's like, oh, I'm losing it. He's like, I got it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, do you think he 100% trusts you, and that's comforting somehow that you got it? How does that help me, Sami? But okay,
it helps Sami. Mm-hmm. I think that's probably the only real takeaway.
Well, but then Sami went out right behind him in seventh. So, and Karla wins immunity, but Jeff's telling her to don't drop. You know, you want to
still win the PB&J.
But it was just like when Erica won. It's like, yeah, no, Jeff. I'm sorry.
Hung on for a little bit. And then
can't hang on anymore.
Karla dropped. So it's Ryan versus Cody. Cody's in a face-off yet again.
Yeah.
And they're competing.
And since I had Ryan going home, I was cheering for Cody.
Very adamantly cheering for Cody.
Yes, I was. Exuberantly for Cody. And because I thought, well, I already thought I was going to be in trouble, and I did not make good choices this season with my safe
picks for the fantasy league.
I'm already in trouble, so I figured, well, I'm going to lose points anyway. As Stacy said, my choices were bold this week, which means stupid.
Spicy and bold.
Yeah.
Cody ends up winning his first individual immunity.
Go, Cody.
And more importantly, peanut butter jelly time.
And he left Ryan vulnerable. Though I started out, I had chosen Cassidy or Ryan, and I kept going back and forth. And then I would select Cassidy as the vote out, and then I'd go, well, but wait a minute. And I need to use her. I needed a safe point on her. So I flipped over and put her safe and changed to Ryan.
Struggle, the
Oy.
internal struggle. Well, it was external because you could hear her working through all this stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then I chose Noelle for the other one. I'm back and forth between Noelle or James, and it was like, well, and I didn't know where Owen was, or so. Anyway, I made bad choices.
Karla had a great realization. She said that she, at one point during the challenge, realized she could, so therefore she did.
That's right.
That's how she
Good
won.
on you.
So the blue team is going to head off to Vesey Beach, and they'll be going to Tribal Council first, and the red team goes back to Gaia Beach.
No peanut butter and jelly for you.
No. And this is when we hear Karla talking about the stitches in her hand, but she was able to win in spite of that. Okay, back at Gaia there. All this, again, happening on day 17, and it is peanut butter jelly time. Even Cody got the chant going, peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time. And Ryan tells us that he is happy that he has cracked Coco. That's what he's thinking.
Ryan has cracked Coco?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean even? He was Coco.
His tribe, yeah. Remember, they weren't 100% with him when he had his master plan with
You mean
Geo.
when he and Geo were the majority?
Yes, the two.
I see.
The alliance of two was in control.
Yes.
Oh, I did like what Gabler said just before that, too. The food is gone and the game is on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Cody and Jesse had a plan. I thought it was a good plan. They shared it with Gabler. Gabler was on board. That because they got the advantage of seeing who the other tribe voted out. Because they didn't want to upset some of the other people in their alliance that weren't on their current team. And so they were like, okay.
Hold on just a second there, because you're jumping a little ahead in terms of the,
No.
you know how much I like the temporal flow. The way that it
But
started,
you're wrong.
the way that it started was Jesse and Cassidy talking to Cody. That's what came next after Ryan.
Okay, let's don't miss that.
Right. Well, there's a whole bunch that happens between that and where you are, because I know where you are.
Okay.
So Jesse and Cassidy are pitching to Cody, this is easy, as Ryan. And Cody responded, well, I really want to talk to everyone first. I thought that was interesting. So he didn't even commit and throw in with them right away. So good on him, I guess, but it seems like it would shake Jesse just a little bit.
Well, the only reason it was good on him is because he had immunity. So he didn't have to worry about it this week. But sometimes that kind of thing, if you're a little wishy-washy and not, committing or putting people off like that, it can come back and bite you later.
Especially with your ride or die, Jesse.
Yeah.
Although Jesse has been very flexible with Cody.
Oh, yeah, but he didn't want to say.
And we got a little bit of Cassidy's backstory at this point, too, which would give you pause because you're thinking, we're learning more about her because she's about to get voted out. But she's talking about how she's been able to hold on and keep the fire going in the game, even though it's always on. And part of what she's doing is honoring her late sister, and she's got her late sister's ashes there.
Yeah, that was nice to get to see her backstory.
I guess so, but I'm with a lot of people, and this isn't the only show that does it, but we got to show you people crying kind of thing. I'm not fond of that. The voice is horrible with it, and they've done it for years on Idol with the sad backstories and.
Well, you don't watch Idol, so you don't have to focus on it too much.
I'm aware of it though, right? It's a trope. It's a thing that they're using, and Survivor's giving into it now. Obviously, it started with 41.
Well, what I liked about Cassidy is that she was very upfront about knowing that Jesse and Cody could be completely lying to me.
Yeah.
I could be going home, and she was well aware of it.
Pragmatic.
She just
dealing
did
with
the best she could with it.
Okay, and we bounce from there. We bounce over to the old Vesey camp, And Karla is feeling wonderful. And for her, it's simple. It's vote for Owen. That's
Yep.
it.
Yeah, she didn't even seem to debate it. Just vote Owen.
Yes, and that's what she's telling Noelle and Sami.
She's
and,
thrilled just to get finally
Yeah,
for now.
yes. And their plan is make him feel comfortable. That's what they discuss. And we see Owen talking to James at the well, and this is when the fireworks start.
Yeah, I thought I understand where James and Owen were coming from.
I'll tell you one thing that I think was it was the catalyst that James really made a mistake, though. He was basically telling Owen it's you when they were at the well. That's what kicked it off. I think that's what refired Owen up.
Well, I thought, after they were arguing and they weren't getting anywhere, went back to camp, and he throws his arms up. I thought, okay, now you're just acting childish. I felt like
Both?
James.
Oh, James.
Owen was really caught up in his emotion.
Yes.
And stuff, but I felt like James flipped over because he couldn't really reason with Owen or talk him around it.
He didn't have a response.
Then I thought he went into a little bit of childish.
His big rebuttal
behavior.
was Sami was there too. Why are you blaming me for telling you to vote for Ryan?
Went a little bit childish at that point.
Everything's my fault. He did that classic thing where he overdoes it. Oh, well, then it's all me. Then I
obviously
caused it all.
You could tell that there was more than what we saw because, as we'll talk about later, it came through for Noelle. She'd had enough of the testosterone, and so it didn't take long for her to get another belly full of it.
Yeah.
They didn't have to say a whole lot. So I'm thinking it was a lot stronger than what we even saw.
Okay, now we're going to come back to the point that you were talking about with Cody and Jesse.
Oh, thank you.
And Cody, we came into this segment with Cody asking Jesse, well, who do you trust the most? And Jesse's looking at it and saying, well, we need to consider Ryan or Cassidy, and then we have to factor in what the impact is.
Well, and overall, it's still getting Coco out. They're both from Coco, so either way, it's a win-win in that respect.
For Vesey,
yes,
and for these two in their alliance.
There's only two Vesey left that are no, I guess there's three, but they didn't seem to be including her. Yeah. It's like they had dumped her way back. So.
Yeah, so they say, well, we can keep Ryan. The pros of keeping Ryan is he's a meat shield and he's also a free agent. He's not like a rock-solid Coco alliance person. And if we take out Cassidy, the con to taking out Cassidy's Karla and James are probably not going to be happy.
However, they were like, well, but if they take out James, then we're going to take out Cassidy, and Karla has no one.
Right. So there's another play there. If we look at the
I was thinking they were tighter with her.
Yeah.
Than that.
So that
was some insight.
I like the if-then plan that they set up. If the blue team takes out Owen, then we'll vote out Ryan.
Yep.
But if they take out James, we'll take out Cassidy, and that'll help isolate Karla, like you said.
Got it. I understand all of that.
That seemed like a really
but what happened?
Good strategic discussion. And Cody tells us in one of his confessionals that he's thinking final 5, final 3. We're looking at the end game and trying to factor in how that's going to play out. And when you're at 8, 5 isn't that far away. So, yeah.
So were you surprised when Noelle started presenting her plan to both Sami and Owen to get out James, and that she was planning to actually steal Owen's vote, not just say it, but actually do it? I thought, she'll say she's going to take Owen's, and then she'll take James. And then it was like, no.
Because that's like the really boss way to do it. It's like, not only did I take your vote, I used it to vote you out.
Yeah. But she didn't do that. I thought, well, can that backfire? How does that? But she just wanted James to stay comfortable and believe that she was doing what she said she would. And
Yep. I tell you, the other thing that surprised me a little bit too was when Cody went to Gabler after he and Jesse had made their plan and had the if-then.
well, they
had the
needed him as a boat.
They needed him, yeah, but how it went, and Gabler pledged ride or die, and Gabler's thrilled. It's music to his ears, he said. I got people approaching me. This was my plan all along.
A minute and a half.
At this point in the game. Yeah, so the alligator gets pulled in to this plan, and so he's good to go. And as far as Cody's concerned, he's ready to start writing some checks because he's on the Autobahn to $1 million, he tells us.
Yep.
Yeah, then you get the strangeness, and so I really liked what Noelle said to James and how she said, yeah, I'm going to use my steal a vote. And I thought, wow, you just told him, so he for sure knows that you have it. That's risky. And you told him that you're going to steal, you're going to steal Owen's vote and vote him out. And you're doing that to try to keep James comfortable.
But here's the question. Do they have any clue how much Sami is straddling the fence?
No, I think that's a big surprise. Old Sam Bam there. I don't think Karla saw that coming.
Well,
and certainly Noelle doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. So, But he's voted enough against Owen and Noelle, you'd think that they would kind of go away. But even though he's like, well, I didn't want to do it.
I guess with Karla looking out for Sami and bringing him into the 7, maybe she established some kind of debt there. And so Sami felt like he owed her something, and that's why he tried to bring her in. I mean, he wants to be...
I think he respects her, and he just wants to work with her. And, he does want to pull her in closer to him. Another reason to get rid of James is to pull her closer to him.
To get rid of
James. That he trusts her in that way, and that she is strategic,
have another
and
option.
She's smart.
Yeah.
And I think he recognizes that, and he wants to work with her.
It did seem odd to me. I wasn't...
She balances him in the traits that he doesn't have, she does. So I think he's looking for that.
I don't know that his perception is up to that level.
Well,
he really wants to be the shot caller.
Well, yeah, but
I think that's probably most important.
For now, I think he needs Karla to...
Because he didn't need Karla to do this at all.
No, he didn't at all.
Sami and Noelle could have pulled this off. It also gives Owen no agency. So he gets no credit for this takedown that Noelle's got planned.
I doubt if he cares right now. It worked out in his favor.
Because if I were him, I would have been advocating for Noelle to steal James's vote and play it that way. Because I could have been a part of that.
Yeah, that could have been a trick on him.
She still gets the majority of the credit, but now he isn't even in it. He's got no role in the execution, and you didn't need Karla, so it seemed like a huge unnecessary risk for Sami, but he wants to... I guess he didn't want to lose Karla.
No, he did not want to lose Karla. That's what it was all about. That's why he wanted to pull her in and get her to agree. And you saw him work on her all during tribal council even. But the other thing with Noelle I the steal a vote.
She was so
Owen.
Excited, wasn't she?
She was excited. Let's vote.
Yeah.
I think that they wanted James to be comfortable enough that he didn't play his shot in the dark either. But had they stolen his, he wouldn't have been able to anyway, right?
Right. If you lose your vote, you don't have one to trade for a shot in the dark. So maybe she lost track of that.
Yeah, maybe, but this is how she thought it would come off best, I guess, and it worked. So
yeah, you could get busted for being too clever for the way that she did it too. So well, in any case, it's going to be a big test for James. Can he really manage his chill?
Okay, so we got it all established. What's going to go down? And
there are plans.
And we go to the first tribal council, which we've kind of been at anyway.
Blue team tribal council. Yep. Noelle, Sami, Owen, Karla, and
Jeff has to hear more about the. Sounds like it's a little more heated than just a conversation.
Well, before we get there, what is with Owen saying that Cody peed all over the Vesey camp?
Well,
That was weird.
I thought, no, there must have been something about
Some story?
They've been telling him, dude, you got to go further away from camp. You can't be doing that. I mean, he said, well, I did it over at me. They're like, well, now we know you did. It's still there.
That was weird.
Yeah, moved downwind.
Yeah.
So I thought there had to have been for him to
A
say
little more
it.
story there.
To say it and to say it that way,
Yeah.
I think there had to have been some conversations about it in camp that we just weren't privy to. Because it did sound odd, like, what? Why are you talking about that?
If I were Probst, I would have totally brought that. That would have been my first question. The blue team said...
Owen said.
Yeah. What is with that, Cody? What
They did not like the fragrance you left at your
Yeah.
last camp, but anyway, I don't know why he felt the need to bring it up, but he did, and
So we get a repeat, like you were talking about, with Owen and James trying to...
start it up again.
Yeah. I like Noelle.
And
She wasn't
explain
having
themselves.
it. Yeah.
You know, she wasn't, but no one listened to her. They just completely.
Well, you said that you
Skipped
thought
over
that
it.
Owen kind of shushed her or something at one point.
Talked over her or
Talked over.
interrupted her or something.
He certainly jumped in, I guess, but
He still wanted his side to be heard, I think.
Yes.
And so did James.
Yeah.
So you know, because it's Jeff. They want Jeff to understand.
and Noelle and Karla both basically said at the same time.
Yeah.
There was yelling.
There was definitely yelling.
They weren't
Jeff.
happy with the yelling. Yeah.
Arms thrown in the air, yelling.
And you know, Probst was happy. He got to inject a
Yep.
sports
he got to
analogy.
Ask more questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Sami just kept on, you know, with what are we doing? What are we doing?
Which way? Yep. Karla didn't seem to be giving him anything, but we know that these segments are heavily edited.
True. They didn't show us her responding, but I'm pretty sure she did. She just didn't give him anything definitive till she kind of got the lay of the land and saw what was happening.
It looks like, to Noelle's credit, that James was very comfortable. He even ends
he
up talking about
smiled.
sharing in the trust of an advantage.
Yep. He bought what she was selling completely. So
Meanwhile,
she can be proud of that.
Karla's sitting behind her, totally stoic. She's like, "Yep, nobody knows anything about my immunity bracelet."
And I'm not telling anybody.
Yeah, you go ahead, talk about all the virtues of the shared advantage that you want.
And I'm gonna have to get rid of Noelle because she did that really well.
Yeah,
I can't have it. At least that's what
she's
I
making.
thought she might
Karla's
be thinking.
making plans. Yeah.
She usually is. So, okay, no idols or anything played again.
Noelle did steal Owen's vote.
That's true.
And that was
she did
a good flashback that Owen offered too.
about.
I was there, James and I. It was actually the three of us
Yeah.
that gave this to her. So we'll see how it plays out. Now it's like it even sweetened her plan a little.
Yeah,
And James is like, "Oh yeah, I was there. Yeah, watch how this goes down, Owen."
well, now he's going to be really mad about it, which I think was Owen's whole reason for pointing it out, so James could put that in his cap and take it with him to
Yeah.
Ponderosa.
He was
and
turning
stew on
the
it.
knife a little before it was in.
We helped her get it, and
Yeah.
this is how she used it to take you out.
The votes come in, one for
Though it
Owen,
could have gone either way.
one for James, two for James, and now he knows something's up.
Yep.
3 for James, and he is out. And he did not seem to have his cool to me. He said, "Good move,
He was trying to. Good
cool
move,
beans,"
guys.
but
Then he was like, I'll take it as a sign of respect. And Noelle was like, well, it was a sign of respect, you know. And
and then he retorted, "We'll see how far you get now."
yeah, then it started the true
Yeah.
instincts started
Bitter
coming
Betty
out.
came out. Yeah.
Well, who isn't bitter when they get blindsided?
We've seen some people who actually were very
Well, that's-
gracious.
that's
like
true.
Janine got blindsided,
That's
and
true.
she got taken out. She was super gracious. But I'm thinking this is going to be an A number one bitter jury member.
I would
And
not have wanted to be at Ponderosa with them that night.
James is going to be, unless he gets a handle on it, he's going to be a poison in the jury.
Janine might have to go to bed early.
Yeah.
Not listen to those two.
Yeah. It's going to be rough.
They're probably, I mean, everybody does it when they're the one that first comes out. They've got a process.
You gotta
Everybody
work through
knows that.
Yeah.
So, but still, I don't know if you want to.
Okay, time for the Red Tribal Council, Red Team.
Yes, Tribal Council number 2.
Jesse, Cody, Cassidy, Gabler, and Ryan. And they see James is on the jury.
Yep, and I'm thinking, uh-oh.
So what did Cody and Jesse say the plan was if James was voted out?
If James was voted out, they would vote out
Cassidy. Take her
so
away
that
from Karla.
Karla would have no one then in her tight alliance.
Yeah.
And
Well, this is going to be pretty straightforward then.
That's what I thought.
Jesse was
Definitely
shocked,
did.
and Jesse reminded me that Bitter Betty James also had left with the knowledge is power, as far as we know,
Yeah.
in his pocket. So
Yep.
that was defeated once
No
again.
good again.
Yeah, it has never been used effectively. Okay.
But at least the Stella vote was used effectively, so that's something.
Yeah.
But
We've seen
those
that
two are
before.
now out of the game. Yay.
Yeah. So there's no more advantages. It's just immunity bracelets.
Idols. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, their bracelets are idols, and let's see, who has one? We know Cody does. Oh,
Assuming
and
Jesse gave it
Jesse's
back.
got Janine's.
Right. And then Karla's got one. Okay, so
Yeah,
Ryan
okay.
says he's surprised too to see James over there, and he's curious to what happened, and he identifies it as a shattered alliance, and he's going to have to talk to some folks to
He's
figure
going to
out
have to
what
get
happened.
to the bottom of what happened and why. Why James, to find out who is calling the shots. I didn't expect that much to come out of Ryan to be thinking through. So I
think
thought,
we underestimate him sometimes.
Okay. He's thinking about it. And then he brings up the whole thing about, well, and with a small group like this, 3 Ryans, and I'm out.
Yeah.
With the 5 people, and I'm thinking, you
Be
could
careful. You don't really want to be putting
Well,
that
you
out
could
there.
tell he didn't think that would happen.
Yeah.
He was not expecting it to at all.
I liked how Cassidy started off about how glorious it was to get the peanut butter and jelly because she had been dreaming about that for days. And then she started placating Probst. Ha.
Placating.
She mentioned the monster and how this time it was going to eat 2 heads.
Oh, I thought, oh, geez.
Cassidy.
Really, Cassidy?
Pandering.
Just-
I'll say pandering.
Yes,
How's that?
pandering to Jeff.
Yeah.
And Jeff was like, oh, yeah, great words. I'm like, well, of course. She just,
Repeated back one of your pep talks. Yeah.
and the monster, blah, 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 blah.
And she's wanting to rig some kind of eavesdropping solution so she can figure out what's going on in all
Now
these
that
conversations.
would be handy. Yeah, that would be handy. But because she was very open about, you don't know if somebody's lying to your face. They could walk off down the beach and talk to somebody else and be laughing that she believed me.
Cody.
And she said it's just very nerve-wracking, and I'm sure it is.
Yeah. Well, Cody was telling us heavy as the head that wears the crown or the immunity necklace. So he might be safe tonight, but he's trying to look further down the road to figure out what this impact is
Yep,
going to be.
and Cody was the man of the hour, and everybody wanted to talk to him.
Yeah, Ryan said there were some very long conversations with Cody, not so much with me.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm carrying around 30 pounds of clamshells in my bag in the event that I get voted out. So he circled back to
I'm taking them home with me.
voting Ryan out as a plan.
Well, that was a good plan, as it turns out, that he brought it with. But we were just sure, well, they said they were going to vote Cassidy out, so okay. And I thought, well, I'm going to lose 2 safe points and not get any vote outs.
Here comes the votes. Cassidy, 1 vote. Ryan, 1 vote. Ryan 2, Ryan 3. Ryan is out. They flipped the script.
Yay! So I didn't lose the safe point for Cassidy, and I got a vote off point for Ryan. Though I did lose the safe point for James.
I wonder if we'll get to see anything on why they changed their mind.
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm not sure why they did. They were
Oh, I know.
so adamant about it.
Gabler must have helped him see the light of a better path. He offered another strategic alternative. No? Cody says, we're going to go hungry now to Ryan.
I think they flipped from the strategic threat that Cassidy could be. Ryan was showing that he had some strategy in saying, I'm got to get to the bottom of this and who's calling the shots. Maybe it made him rethink a little bit that he is strategizing and he's a huge physical threat. Though they might have just gone, look, we need to win challenges or the target's going to be on us. So we need the ability to win. And we can't do that as much against Ryan unless it's something like this. And
Cody just beat him.
Almost lost to him, though. It could have gone either way, and I'm sure he knew that.
Didn't seem like Cody was in danger.
No, it didn't, but it could on the next one. So he is still the biggest physical threat.
Ryan passed the fishing torch to Cody and tells him it's your time. You're going to have to get the fish for the tribe now.
And my thought was, why would I waste my energy to do that?
Yeah, it's like Karla, we got rice.
I save it for the individual to, immunity.
Yeah, I want to win more of these immunities.
Get it rest up.
Well, what did you think of this jam-packed episode, double elimination?
Loved it as always. It just seemed to go so quickly. That's one day. This all happened the one day.
Yeah, not only is it a double, but it's a one-day double. Yes.
I mean, I do way less than that in a day, and I need a nap.
Yeah.
So it's like, Gabler didn't get a nap, I don't think.
Yeah, definitely understood what Cassidy was talking about how quick things are moving.
Well, and how nerve-wracking it is. You're under that tension constantly because you don't know till you get there what's going to happen. And it doesn't matter what anybody tells you.
Yeah.
You really don't know.
That part, I believe, is amped up. There's not as much downtime in the 26-day version for sure as there was in the 39. There's pros and cons to that, but certainly the pace makes things much more intense. And you gotta be working constantly to stay on top of things and your connections. Yeah, I enjoyed it too. It was interesting to see. I thought we were going to get some more fireworks with advantages, idols, things like that, but they seem very hesitant to play things, except Noelle. She was terribly eager. She was like, hurry up. Are we going to vote now, Jeff?
We didn't hear her saying, but she did on the next on last time say she woke up that morning wanting to
make a big
move.
Yeah, big move.
And so that worked out for her. Though I don't know if it was the best play or use of that, but
do you think James will respect it? Is he going to give her credit for that and respect it?
Respect it.
Yeah. Like come time, if she's in the final three, is that a huge feather in her cap? Did she just
maybe
make a big entry on her resume?
It could go either way. He could respect that, hey, she played hard enough to get me out, and I think I played a good game.
Yeah.
And so she got me out. She deserves it.
Yeah.
Or he could go with I wouldn't write your name down, and you voted me out, and I haven't given you. It's all your fault.
Bitter Betty, yeah.
So you don't know which way somebody's going to do. I expect him to calm down. Everybody's usually more upset in the beginning, and then they start processing it.
Yeah, some people don't let go, though. Some people, we've seen very bitter juries.
We've seen both, yep.
Yeah.
And then other times it's like, I'm not in the game anymore. I don't care.
Because I don't think Ryan is really of that frame of mind. I don't think he's going to put up with it for too long, and he'll find something else to do at the Ponderosa.
He'll have to go do something. I don't see Ryan being able to. Now, James could lay around the pool and take naps and hang out and do things, but Ryan, I always think of him as having to do
go
something. He's got to go. He's got to be moving and fishing or do. That's part of the fun of even going
part
on
of his
Survivor
adventure
for him. Yeah, that is a huge part of his adventure, and so I don't see him not doing that at Ponderosa either.
Yeah, next time on Survivor.
Okay.
We got Cassidy talking to Cody and saying it's time to go after the big threats. I think you're talking to a big threat. At least part of a pair of a big threat.
Yep. Who do you think she is talking about, though?
That part's not clear.
And that she's talking to Cody instead of Karla.
Original Vesey.
Or at least in this scene.
Right.
Yeah. So
There
they
could
must
be-
see him in
Could
him
be
in-
something to that, right?
Yeah. Or they could be setting Jesse and Cody up for a sting.
Yeah.
And break them up. So, and Sami says to Jesse, Noelle. So
Does that mean reach out to or target? It's not necessarily clear,
they
right?
make you think target.
Well, then we get a response from Noelle saying, I can't trust Sami. So, yeah.
Yep.
It's supposed to make you think target.
And
Cut to Jesse. We
Yeah.
can get Gabler.
we can get Gabler. And
I'm
I
assuming
think
that
he was
means as a
talking to
vote.
Owen.
Yeah. Because they do show Owen, but they don't show those two
Well,
in the
that's
same frame together.
ambiguous as well because we can get Gabler. That means we can vote him out, or we can get Gabler to vote with us.
Like we just did.
So, yes.
Yeah.
So
And he pledged ride or die.
we
final
don't know
three.
which one they're meeting.
Yeah, we see Gabler talking to what appears to be Owen, saying they're looking at you. So
Mm-hmm.
Owen's still on the chopping block potentially.
And then Cody and Jesse, big red flag. They're feeling good about where they're steering this ship.
Jesse's feeling great, and Cody says,
Yeah.
"We're steering the ship, bro." And then just before that, we have Owen again talking about the speed. The speed of the game's relentless.
That can be the kiss of death.
I was most interested in the last one though. Gabler talking to Karla,
Yeah.
and Gabler says, "Jesse and Cody, they're running the show. We need to deal with that."
Yep.
What do you think?
I
Will they
think
make a move on them at 8?
I would have a hard time trusting Gabler with in it. Now, would I use him if I thought, it was going our way and he was with us and whatever? Then sure. But I wouldn't put all my eggs in one basket with Gabler.
I think they could easily make a run on them, though. Look at what you're dealing with right now.
Could. If Cassidy, Gabler, and
Owen,
Karla,
Sami, Karla.
Noelle,
Yeah.
Owen, Sami, that's 6-2, babe.
Yeah. It's pretty easy,
So,
isn't it?
yeah, they could if they don't win immunity. But Cody has an idol, and they know it.
Don't know about Jesse's, though.
No, nobody knows Jesse has it.
So I could see
Well,
him going after those guys
I
and those guys
suspect Cody might.
deflecting.
Hey, surely he told Cody, but I hope he didn't.
Yeah, I don't think he did. I think he's pretty
Think he
savvy
should.
like Karla.
Keep that totally quiet, just like Miss Karla. Well, we haven't seen anybody, and surely someone has thought who got it from, especially Cody. He knows how you get it. And they know Janine got it, and Cody got it. They
Well,
gotta think who from Coco got it.
Now,
Somebody had
Dwight outright lied in his interviews about some things, but he kind of needed to. So maybe it was kind of like a
to. He
white
didn't want
lie.
to give anything away.
Right. He didn't want to offer spoilers about what happened with Janine's idol bracelet. But he did say that it seemed, for the most part, and Dwight was one of the savvier ones trying to figure out who had what, like Owen was, that no one in Coco thought that there had been a bracelet assembled. They just, something about the way that Karla pulled that off,
They never found it.
it faded away. Yeah, and there was no recollection of that happening. At least that's what he had said.
Well, and obviously she's kept it
So,
out of sight.
If they come after Jesse and Cody and then they start using those immunities, that could be huge. That would be exciting to see.
Who gets popped if they both play their idols?
Right.
They're like, yeah, come and get us. Come and get
Right.
us. But still, they're outnumbered. Even if they get through this one, that they can only use those idols once, and then they're vulnerable.
Yes.
Still.
Yeah, but
Still
if
5-2,
they get a,
I think.
well, yeah, there's enough that they could split the vote, so they probably would have to play both of them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's gonna be an exciting thing about what that could bring, isn't it? We'll talk some more about that on
Wow, who are they
Saturday.
going
But first, how about a JSFL update?
Nope, don't have it.
We don't have one. It's a complicated scoring scenario. So.
Yes, this is all Steve. If it's that's way over my skill set. When it has to be entered manually,
Yeah.
Steve has to do that. and he had a commitment tonight, and he'll get to it when he gets to it. And
Yeah,
we
so
will
Thursday or
announce
Friday,
it
it'll update, and then we'll do a quick recap of it on the
on
listener
Saturday.
feedback.
Yeah. Though I chose Ryan and Noelle to go home because, well, I first did Noelle and Cassidy, and I was trying to decide. I finally went with, because I almost went Ryan and Cassidy, because those were the two that Jesse and Cody were kind of wanting Cassidy out all along, and Ryan, and yet last week they all were kind of going after Ryan. So I thought, okay, well, oftentimes that follows on into the next week. But then I thought the whole James and Noelle thing. So I was just sure all week James was going to go. But then I started thinking, no, I think because she tells Karla that's going to backfire and it's not going to work. And so I think it'll be Noelle. And so I determined Noelle for sure. And then it was, I put Cassidy, and then I went back and changed to Ryan, thinking, no, I just think Ryan's so much of a bigger threat.
Yeah, I don't agree with that assessment, but I understand what you're saying.
Yes, but you heard me going through all of it and trying to.
I just mean in general, Ryan was never a big threat.
But he is physically, especially now that they're
Results
into.
say no.
Well, still, he could be, depending on the challenges, because when it gets later in the game, they always go for a few big major physical challenges.
They're less and less physical until the final 5.
Well, yes, but if he got to final 5, he could ace that. Well, anyway, that was my point, and
he seemed to be tracking as a goat really solid to me, so that's what I'm thinking about when I hear you say that.
I finally got really tired this afternoon, and I thought, I need a nap. So I just picked somebody. I thought, make a decision, enter it, and go to bed. So that's what I did, took a nap.
Yeah, sometimes
it wore me out.
Quite the struggle for you, poor baby.
And then you made your picks. I didn't even know who you were doing.
Yep.
You chose Owen and James.
Yeah, I was
who ended up being on the same team.
Yeah, I just thought, I bet Owen will end up on that other team, and then they'll target him, and it'll be easy and simple, and that's how it'll go. Yeah, when they were on the same team, I was like, ruh-roh. Well, there you go. Well, at least I got James, and I didn't lose a save point, so.
Well, don't rub it in that I did.
I didn't. I was talking about me, not you.
But anyway, that was our choices and how we came up with them. And
fascinating, I'm sure. They're riveted.
Well, yeah, sure. Why not? At least they now know we struggle as much as everybody.
Sure, yes.
And it's like,
I don't know,
these are
for
so
me,
hard.
I consider it part of the fun.
Like
yeah, it's so complicated. You make up a story and you go with it. And,
I made up a lot of different
stories. Tell you
what
I'm looking forward to is I'm looking forward to hearing some of the other fans and what stories they came up with and how they were making their decisions, and then how they're thinking about the game going forward. Who do you think's playing the best? Who's going to be in a position of power after this double whammy episode?
Yep.
And who's most likely to go next as we go back to a single elimination next week? I'm looking forward to hearing what your thoughts are on that. And we've got a fantastic audience of fans, and people come at things from different walks in life, and they offer all kinds of interesting insights in the listener feedback show. And we'd love to have you join us in the next one. You can call and leave a voicemail, 206-350-1547, toll free 844-643-8737. You can record your own audio and attach it, or just type up a quick email and send it to us at joanneandstacyshow@gmail.com, and we'll read it into the show on your behalf. Feedback's due noon Pacific time on Saturdays, and we ask that you keep it in that 3-minute range so we can get everybody in there, and it's a manageable show. The sooner you get it in, the sooner we can get it prepped and ready to go, so we don't quite get hit with an avalanche on Saturday morning.
Well, at least they'll all be it'll be the 8 of them next time, and it won't be split up to smaller teams to vote off.
As far as we know.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, they won't do that. But that is making it more and more tight. Somebody's going to have to start drawing some lines and kind of hanging with that.
I think we'll see an immunity idol get played. I think that will come to fruition.
That's a distinct possibility. Okay, obviously they were aware that Karla had a pretty tight alliance with Cassidy and James, or at least they thought they did.
That's how Jesse and Cody had assessed it, yes?
So, they don't trust Cassidy, though, or they might do well to just align with those two, since they're the last 2 Coco members.
You don't have a lot of choices at this point. Yeah.
Well, but they've got Sami they've worked with, and Owen that they could, you know.
But again, you don't have a lot of
Gabler,
choices.
they've worked with Gabler.
Yeah, they seem to have some alliance with Gabler, but now Gabler's suspicious of him. So
I tell you, I'd be targeting
Gabling.
Sami first, I think,
The Sam Bam.
and then Gabler, because you can't trust him. Nicole's emotional. She's smart.
Ooh, you
and
got
she's
through almost the
physical.
whole one without saying her name wrong. Noelle.
Oh, I was
I thought you
saying
had nailed it.
Hurricane Nicole again. Well, my mom was right in the path. I couldn't figure out why I started saying Nicole. It's because I was searching all day long every day there for a few days last week, because the Hurricane Nicole was headed toward my mom. And so I was, okay, what's he doing now? What's he doing now? And then for some reason, I just started calling her Nicole. And then I thought, I don't even know a Nicole. Why am I saying Nicole? And then I went in and typed it in, and I went, oh, okay. I guess that's why I'm fixated on Nicole.
Connected those dots. Anyway, Noelle.
Well, you made me forget what I'm saying. Anyway, I think Noelle is strategic, and I think she's shown her hand now. And I think at some point they're going to go, she's got a great end story, and those are the people we absolutely cannot have in the final 3.
Mm-hmm.
If they know they have a good end story, and that they might be more sympathetic, the jury may be more sympathetic with them or whatever because of their stories, that's usually the people they do not want to take with them.
Okay, well, we're looking forward to your assessment and how you think each of these castaways are playing and who might be next to go. Anything else you want to add?
Oh my gosh, what if they take Gabler as a goat? And we have to listen to him in the final trial. I mean, I'm not dissing the guy, really. I like him fine. I think he's done a lot of really good things in his career and his life. But to listen to him talk and about the game and the this and the that and think he's in charge of everything drives me a little nuts. But that's why I kind of sound down on him.
Okay.
But I'm not really as a person.
Got it.
Just as a player.
I see. Anything else?
Character. Nope. Let's wrap it up and have some dinner.
Have a good one.